Sanctuary Vineyards in Jarvisburg, North Carolina with owner John Wright, and we're going to talk a little bit about how COVID has affected his business this year. So John, let's get started with, I know you do a lot of wine tastings and they usually crank up in the shoulder season, so what's changed?
Well, we were closed to tastings for over 2 months by orders. And while we knew that was difficult, we rotated to free shipping, curbside delivery, as well as free home delivery. And that helped us somewhat. But it was a major part of the business that was missing by not having tastings. But we followed all the rules and regulations, and we went to a shipping model, and we didn't allow any customers into the building for tastings. We had no events. We had to cancel and move weddings as well. So it had a big impact on our business.
And now you've started the tastings back up, but they're outdoors. So talk a little bit about that. How many you can handle per tasting, reservations, what customers need to do.
So at our winery, we have a side yard. We put wooden picnic tables out. They hold a maximum of 4 people per table. The tasting is done completely outside in disposable servingware, so that there's no secondary double use of glasses. And if somebody wants to come inside for use of the restrooms or for purchase of wine, that's allowed. Otherwise, everything's happening outside, which is actually a great way to experience a vineyard winery.
I would agree. And so with I guess, is the seating about the same? Is it a little less, a little more? And what do customers, should they reserve a few days ahead of time?
Well, prior to this, inside our winery, there's 2 rooms with tasting bars, but the seating was limited anyway. By going outside, the square footage is 3 to 4 times that of our old tasting area, but we're limited by how many people we can serve at one time. So if anything, the seating is less because we are going back and forth indoors and out to maintain a good level of service for every person that's here.
Okay, let's talk about retail sales. Maybe some people aren't going to come down to the Outer Banks this year, that sort of thing. How do they go ahead? Are you still pushing retail sales online? What's the shipping situation, all of that?
Sure. So for wine, there's a limit how many states we can ship to. It's a federally regulated product, but we're shipping to any state where we're allowed, and we're offering savings and discounts on shipping. Now for the cotton gin, we've made a big push for the web store there at cottongin.com. The cotton gins are reopened, but they spent a few months without any visitors and without any customers. So we're operating at a bit of a, we got a late start for the retail season for cotton gin, but we're definitely shipping. We're encouraging folks to browse the website for all the products they like.
All right, and talk a little bit, you just mentioned the way you're growing the vines this year. Talk a little bit, we were just over at the Weeping Radish, and that's all about farm to fork and non-processed food. Talk about how you do the grapes here, a little bit about the way you handle them and that sort of thing.
Sure. The vineyard out back here, this is a grape called Tannat. It's native to Southwest France, and it's one of 15 different European varietals that we've imported cuttings to Currituck County. So the vineyards are spread out around the farm here in Jarvisburg and throughout Currituck County, and we use techniques that are European or French in origin to make a product that's a drier style of wine. Right now we're in the middle of bloom, so the vines are setting their crop as we speak. So a nice sunny day like this during bloom really helps to support a large, healthy crop.
All right, you talked a little bit about chemicals and not chemicals. You want to elaborate on that?
Sure, yeah. So here at Sanctuary, we're trying to be as sustainable as possible. So the vineyard does not have a finely manicured look because we're not using herbicides, and we're allowing natural growth underneath the vines, so it supports like a healthier ecosystem. It's not easy to grow grapevines on the Outer Banks in Currituck County or North Carolina in particular, but we want to use less chemical inputs to make sure that the whole system is in balance.
Okay, and you have several styles of wine, but I always like to ask this question every time I interview you. What's the release currently, the current releases that you really recommend people try, whether they're online or in person?
Sure. So if you're looking for a budget wine, something of a daily drinker to go with a meal or for casual hangouts, I would go with the Wild Pony White. It's a blend of Chardonnay, Pinot Gris, Viognier, and Sauvignon Blanc, and it supports the Corolla Wild Horse Fund. For a red, I like to go with the Morton, which is our smooth, everyday red sipping wine. You can even slightly chill it. But if you're looking for a wine that's more exotic, something more luxurious, you could go with our new dessert wine. It's called OBX Nice. And it's grapes actually grown to the left of the tannat and hung to dry until they raisinate on the vine, and it yields a really luscious, sweet, rich dessert wine.